Hi everyone, my name is Mi and welcome back to my channel. Today we'll be pulling and building ineffa. Before we get started, I want to mention that I have a Discord server now. The link is in the description and also in my bio, so come and join and say hi. And without further ado, let's get into the video. To be honest with you, I didn't have any intention to pull for ineffa, but after getting Columbina, I decided that ineffa would be a good unit alongside her, so we did pull for her and Hoyo blessed us, let us win our 50-50, and we also got her on our first 10 pull. She is a great character and she'll be really good on my account, so I'm very happy. Since I didn't intend on pulling ineffa, we don't have any resources pre-farm for her, so in today's video we'll be both farming and building her together. I'm really happy that ineffa does use Natlan materials. This means I'll have a bunch saved over from when I was exploring Natlan, and it also means that her weekly boss will not be time gated like Columbina's is. Unfortunately, I do not have any of her local specialty, which is the glowing horn shroom, so now I'm going to go farm it with my Kniche team. I'm using my Kniche team not only for comfort and mobility, but because Kniche happens to show the local specialties on the map. This will make it a lot easier for us to find ineffa's materials and just make it a lot more comfortable for me to play around the map. Okay, so I dealt with the ruin guard off camera because it was getting kind of messy, but I'm just picking up the last few glowing horn shrooms on this island. Honestly, ineffa's local specialty is not that difficult to collect. I thought that a lot would be on the mountains, but most of them were on the ground or within areas near a teleport waypoint. I've never actually seen any other Natlan character, that I own at least, ever use these materials, so I think they match ineffa pretty well. I'm kind of surprised still that ineffa uses Natlan materials, but it does make sense because she was introduced before Nod Cry became a thing. And yeah, now we're going back up to the Masters of the Nightwind to collect some more of her local specialty. I do think that collecting local specialties is definitely one of the more fun aspects of building a character. To be honest, my least favorite part of building a character is definitely the talents. I hate the amount of mora that we have to invest, and also the grinding of the talent books is just, it's a little bit too lengthy for me, but honestly, grabbing the local specialties makes it really fun so you can explore and run around with your favorite team. A lot of people also have asked me if they should pull for ineffa or Columbina or both. I think that you should pull for Columbina if you have other Nod Cry units such as Flynn's, Lauma, Nefer, but I think that you should pull for ineffa overall in general if you're looking to expand your team compositions. After all, ineffa is a great off-field electro damage DPS, and obviously she is very compatible with Columbina as well, so if you want to go for Columbina or ineffa, I'd say go for Columbina if you have Nod Cry units and ineffa if you don't. If you want to pull for both, go for it. I totally recommend it because in my opinion, ineffa and Columbina are the best pair in Genshin at the moment. After collecting ineffa's materials for a while, I am ascending her finally because we have enough flowers. I also happen to have a bunch of Hero's Wit because of obviously pre-farming for Columbina, we had some left over. Now it is time to work on ineffa's boss. Before we get started, I was quickly showing you guys my Risley ratio because they were both 6-7. But anyways, this boss requires Cryo and Hydro, which is really annoying because I don't have Skirk or Escoffier, which I assume is the target character for this boss, but thankfully we do have Risley and Farina, which practically is the same thing, so I'm gonna use this team to fight her boss. Also, I'm quickly flexing my Risley crit ratio. Isn't it absolutely stunning? I invested a lot of time into him, but to be honest, I don't use him that much, so it's kind of a waste. Also, the main reason that I don't use Risley is because I don't love his playstyle. I find the normal attack and the charge attack thing a little bit annoying, and it consumes so much stamina, which is why I don't really use him that much. But overall, I still want to use him for this video because obviously we needed cryo for the boss. Anyways, we're gonna be doing 2 runs today of the boss because I have no resin. I also need to craft these crystal chunks for her. And now ineffa is level 60 out of 70, which is very good in 1 day's worth of progress. Unfortunately, we don't have any more resources for her, so we need to collect her local specialty, her boss materials, and some more chunks. Thankfully, the next day I decided to rob someone else's world and take their materials with their permission, of course. I saw a lot more people after the Columbina flowers rather than the ineffa ones, so thankfully I was able to join this person's world who kindly let me take their materials. But yeah, it's been literally a frenzy to grab Columbina materials recently. I've had like 10 people request to join per day just to ask for her flowers, even though they're still respawning in my own world. All the flowers have been collected, so now it is time to work on her boss, once again using my Risley team and just punching the boss as hard as I can. Honestly, the damage is kinda underwhelming, as you can see, but I think it's also because I'm just using Risley by himself without any buffs or other characters. Also, thankfully, I have saved a ton of fragile resin, which is how I am getting her boss materials. I'm crafting 6 of her crystal chunks, and now it is time to level up our ineffa to level 80. I do intend on taking her all the way to level 90, which is why we are going to be continuing to fight her boss. Starting off by using my transient resin, I am collecting ineffa's boss drops. Okay, and now it is time to craft the rest of her materials, which include the whistles from the Natlan warriors and also her crystals. Since I don't have enough crystals to make the gemstones, I am going to be using a little bit of the dust to swap the elements of the crystals. I had to spend some star glitter, but that's okay, we had a bunch left over after our wishing session. And finally, we have ascended ineffa to the last ascension. I'm gonna keep her at level 82 and just let the rest of the XP gain from using her. And I'm also claiming our free acquaint wishes. Now it is time to work on Ineffa's weapon, and for her weapon, we will be using Skyward Spine. I got Skyward Spine when we lost the weapon banner 50-50 when I was pulling for Columbina's signature, but thankfully it serves a really good purpose now and our Ineffa can use it perfectly. I also happen to have some materials left over for when we were, I think, farming it for someone else, so we can craft enough to get it to level 60. Okay, and now it is time to grind out her weapon ascension materials. We are heading back to Mondstadt to this domain that we always end up going back to. It's just a bunch of Hydro Slimes and some Fatui Pirate agents. I'm gonna try out my Columbina team, but just keep that in mind, my Columbina is not fully built yet, and my Ineffa is also not fully built as well. Also, I do believe that this is Columbina's best team if she is a main DPS. We have Columbina obviously, Llama for the buffs, and we have Nahida for the EM buff, and also Ineffa for the off-field lunar reaction, and she also does a bunch of damage as well. I wasn't sure if we had enough materials yet, so I went to quickly check if we could ascend it, and we could, so now I'm taking it up to level 70. Because Ineffa is a support, I don't intend on taking her weapon all the way to level 90, but in the future I definitely will. Today we're just going to take it up to level 80 and craft the remainder that we need. Honestly, crafting the weapon was probably the simplest task of them all, and now we have finished Ineffa's weapon. Like I said, I don't have the time or resources to level it up to 90 just today, but I'll do it in the future in my own time when I have enough. Temporarily, my Ineffa will hold 4-piece Gilded Dreams while we farm her new set. The set is called Obeyed of Morning Star and Moon, and it is also Columbina's set, but because I'm using Columbina on field, I'm going to be giving this off-field set to my Ineffa. Also, I will be using my Columbina DPS team in this domain because lunar reactions are really important in breaking down the shields. This domain is actually really fun and enjoyable if you have Nod Cry characters and can perform enough lunar reactions. I found it to be really easy and simple because obviously I had Columbina. I will be using a ton of my fragile resin, but I'll definitely be farming for Ineffa's artifacts in the future as well. This is because today we didn't get that many good pieces, and I also realized that you need to build crit on Ineffa because technically she is an off-field DPS, not necessarily only a support. So even though my build is kind of scuffed in this video, I promise I'll be working on it in my own time off camera and in the future. I'm gonna be ascending some artifacts that have some potential, but they are also kind of temporary because I don't want to replace them with better artifacts in the future. This artifact rolled pretty well, most of it went into attack percent, which is what Ineffa needs. And now it is time to level up her feather. I unfortunately ran out of mora, so we're gonna do a couple of mora ley lines together. Both of my stands and my goblets were pretty bad, so I'm pretty sure I went with an off-piece goblet instead. And also for her circlet, I decided to go with attack even though crit rate or crit damage is recommended. I promise that in the future when I do get a crit circlet, I will definitely change it, but at the moment I'm just going to be stacking a bunch of attack on my ineffa and hope that it's strong enough. Now it is time for Ineffa's talents. With Ineffa, you want to focus on her elemental skill and then her elemental burst. Luckily, Ineffa is from Natland, so technically she uses Natland materials and therefore we don't need a farm for her talent books because I happen to have some from, I'm assuming, exploration and quests. I'm going to be crafting some more of the blue rarity for her. Okay, so we have finally run out of her talent books, so let's go and farm that now. I'm going to be using my Veresa team for the Night Soul Blessing, but overall I like to use this team for whenever I'm farming because it is so much more efficient. With the books that we farmed, I'm going to be raising Ineffa's talents to level 7. And since we have no more resin, I'll be farming them next time. You can tell that the day changed because my mora increased, but we're going back into Ineffa's talent domain today and also farming for her ult and her skill. Instead of using my Veresa team today though, I'm going to be using my Columbina team just because I want the extra companionship XP. And now we got her ult to level 8, but I did want to enhance her skill to level 9. And finally, we have finished Ineffa's talents. I am so broke in Mora now, but at least her talents are all complete. I'm going to do a quick rundown of my Ineffa's build. These are her stats. She is using Skyward Spine, which I will enhance in the future. She is also using the full piece of the Obeyed of Morning Star and Moon, which I will also improve in the future. This build was kind of rushed and I'm kind of sorry, but I promise I'll work on it. She is C0 and her talents are 1, 9, and 8. And that was all for today's video. I hope you guys all enjoyed as always, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye!